Right, shall I read? Right, so Stefan's holding a whiteboard up with some text on it, which reads, voice gone, so I'll just say, back of the netto, I see what you've done there. Slipped through the netto, I see what you've done there. Nothing but netto.
Whee! Had to be done. Oh my word!
I'm a bit of a spent force now. After that,
I've got nothing left.
That was that called on reserves of energy just watching.
Considering I had a 3-hour journey home, and then it's a couple of hours on from that, having had a cup of tea and a chat with the wife and watched the segment on Match of the Day. My chest is still fluttering from the excitement, and I'm just grinning from ear to ear. Like walking, it was the scenes at the end. I'm sure we'll touch upon all the bits and bobs, but just walking through the concourse as we made our way out, everyone's just grinning like idiots. It's just, you can't beat it. You cannot beat that feeling.
Well, I've seen several people suggest that that's the single best moment at the Emirates.
Well,
they're talking about the Arshavin goal against Barcelona, the late winner against Leicester. Leicester won the league.
Well, the thing from my point of view is it has to be today, because I didn't have my season ticket for the Arshavin one, and for some reason I wasn't at the Welbeck game against Leicester. I just wasn't there. I think I was doing a family thing. I remember celebrating it here or at my old house in the front room. But I wasn't at the game. I can't remember what the significance of the event was. But
I think it was It was Danny Welbeck last minute.
No, I can't remember the event as to why I missed.
Oh well, you weren't there, right? Okay.
I know exactly why the Welbeck goal was significant. No, I get that, hopefully my family aren't watching this and they won't know. I can't remember what important event we were celebrating.
Because it was just. There was like just shock and relief and disbelief and like what is happening? Like I don't understand. I understand football. I've been watching it for decades, but what I've just seen is my mind is struggling to comprehend fully, to grasp. We have just scored a 97th minute winner, haven't we? Like it was literally the third last kick of the game. I'm like, and I mean,
10 goals down.
10 minutes after the just on the celebrations, Richard Keys has said he has no problem. This is nice of him. He has no problems with the way we celebrated that because of the context of the game and so on. Of course he couldn't just allow that. He did say, I am slightly concerned about the fact it was the 97th minute, but it is a minimum of 6 minutes, and they had a player injured again for roughly the first minute of those 6 minutes. So karma. And if we're getting on into just like a little bit of a rant, because I have watched the.
Do not let Richard Keys.
No. I'm not. No, not in the slightest. No.
Not worth it. Leave it, Holly.
Him being disgruntled is reinforces my mood. No, my issue is we should have had 2 penalties at least. I mean, on another day we could have had 3 for handballs. To Match of the Day did not show the one on the post. They did show the one in the first half. I think could have gone the way when it hit his arm at that.
I'm not. That one didn't bother me.
No, Billing had his hands up like that. That's not a natural position. I'm sorry.
That's a messy one, and I can see why. The other one is the shot that's blocked.
Yeah, he pushes his arm out. That one, right.
That one, I'm more on the side of that probably should have been playing. And it's not even so much about the fact that it hits his arm and it's a block. It is very close to him, but it's stopping a shot at goal and it's hit his arm. The other ones, there's mitigation there, but that one, really stood out.
So on another day, VAR could have gone away. But do you know what? I'm glad it didn't, and I'm glad Bournemouth took a 9.11 second lead, and I'm glad Partey let whoever that fella was roam free at the corner, and they went to.
I didn't.
I'm delighted.
I'm
delighted. No, not at all.
Hindsight's the best football fan.
Hang on. In my defence, I said at 2-0 down, I said we need to get our first goal back within 5 minutes. And I think you'll find 57 minutes was their goal, 62 minutes was Partey's goal. I then said we need to get the equaliser before the 75th minute.
And we did.
We did that. Now, where my prowess kind of diminishes somewhat is I didn't quite call the 97th minute for the winner.
Who could?
No, that's apparently Arteta. There's like a shot of him doing seven to the. He said, "I'm going to score in the 7th minute of stoppage time."
And a little kid.
That kid is brilliant.
That kid is a legend.
If you see that kid, he's actually in the front row. You can see him before when Arteta's running first, at the very beginning, when you see the kid there, and then he turns up like 30 seconds later. Shaking Arteta's hand.
I love it. I love the way Arteta walks over to him and properly just joyfully high fives him.
And then realizes, security. Yeah. And it's like he said, I just started running and I didn't know where I was running or what I was doing. It was just that kid moment. It's
those details that will make this be part of Arsenal folklore.
Yes,
because there's a beautiful shot that I showed my wife, and she said that's like a Renaissance painting because it was the sort of the wide shot of the ball after it had hit the net.
Oh, when Odegaard collapsed.
Odegaard. It's not even that Odegaard's on the floor prone, but there's so many other things that you can see.
Every time you see it, you see something different. Yeah. You see something new.
Oh, it was just crazy. Like,
where did you disappear to? Because it was about good 20-30 seconds into the celebration of the goal, and Indigo turned around and said, where's Stefan? He's disappeared. He's just gone. And we genuinely couldn't see you because other people had left, so we had more space.
Well,
so
that's it.
Some people had gone.
That's it. What happened was the Brummy guys who sit on one side, they'd gone up because they normally leave just a little bit. They stand at the top so they can beat the crowds out rather than being sort of penned in, because I know that they catch buses or whatever. So they don't leave like a lot of people get sort of flack for. But they just go and stand up. And then the other two guys who sit the other side, I mean, they're always going to the bar, so that's where they would have been headed. So they headed off just before the end as well, like literally just before. So I didn't really have anyone. So when the ball goes in, I jump about a bit and then I run off looking for someone to hug. So I ended up down near block 5, I think.
Right, so you did
kind of like
we're in block 7, so that's quite the distance.
This is it.
That's quite a distance through a crowd of people. That's quite a distance. And then there was the bloke the bloke behind you who lost his wedding ring. Indigo found his wedding ring. He lost
his wedding ring.
Yeah, that ended up.
And then I cheered that like a goal. Oh, double celebration. How does his wedding ring come off?
I've no idea. I mean,
I have to really go for mine.
I don't know. But Indigo found that. I don't know whether he was pleased, relieved, or disappointed about that discovery. but like, that's
what a story that would have been to tell.
Yeah. So I've watched on Sky. I've watched the full game again.
Have you really?
Oh God, yeah.
Not just the last 20 minutes.
No. I will. In fairness, because I couldn't fast forward it because it was like I didn't pay. I started paying attention around about 57 minutes, 58 minutes.
But looking at the highlights again, it reminded me of the fact that their opening goal. The manager Gary O'Neill has said as much. You know, it was something they worked on. They tried it out, and it completely caught us cold.
But Arteta told us to watch out for it. He said,
really?
Yeah, he said he said in his, I don't know, the extended post-match interview, not on the match of the day one, but I mean, I think it was with match of the day, but it was an extended one, not that was a shortened one they had there. If you go onto the BBC website and click on it, I think he says it on that, where you see he says that and we were. You could see he was a bit cross, but he was only momentarily cross because he realised what had happened subsequent to that, because he was then full of praise for the bravery, and he used something. He said an interesting word. He used, was it like initiative? I think so. So there were players on the pitch doing things off the cuff, like to try and get the win, and he was applauding that, which is quite interesting. So because he does sometimes get that, like, kind of, maybe he's a bit too rigid, or he's like, you must do this, but actually that's obviously not the case. And what was really interesting as well was Jorginho on the sideline was coaching that last 5-10 minutes. He was coaching, he was pointing. It was a real, I mean, it was, I just really hope that we're not all of a sudden without three attacking players for a couple of games, because that could be terminal for us. And I'm saying this now, and I'll care on Thursday, but I do not care about the Europa League. If it costs us players, I'm not. You know, What I don't want in the Europa League is to get through Sporting and get through the next one, and then go out to Manchester United in the semi-final, or lose to them in the final. I'm like, that's typical defeatist attitude from me. But I don't want,
because it's United. It's a double bubble.
I don't want that to happen, provided I don't want us to go out. No, that's silly. But I don't mind if we do go out, if it means we can focus on just the league, because I don't care about anything else. There's 12 games to go. I do not care about anything else. It's like,
but let's face it, whatever happens between now and May, this season has just been incredible.
No. Yes, but if we don't win the league, it'll be incredible for the wrong reasons from this point forward.
No, I genuinely don't give a shit, because, you know, it'll be the classic, you know, petulant football fans thing that, you know, if we do fall short, all those rival fans will be like, oh, you see, no, and whatever. But no rational Arsenal fan has been really claiming that we're going to win the league. Look, we've never had a better opportunity in terms of what we've managed to do.
Okay, let me ask you.
Hold on, but this is up against the might of Abu Dhabi. You know, I'm not even going to say the might of Manchester City, because it's not. We're up against a petro state who is able to game the system with, you know, untold wealth, and basically create this kind of like cheat mode where they can get the best manager and they can get the best players, and they can spend 50 million on a fullback as though it's, you know, spending, you know, 100 million on a forward that the rest of us mere mortals have to kind of, you know, scrabble together. And I know I say that as an Arsenal fan, and we're a club in a massively privileged position, but we are thin on the ground, like you said, about worrying about our injuries. You know, Trossard looks like he's got a groin injury. Eddie's been carrying a knock. Gabriel Jesus is still probably weeks away rather than, you know, days away. And Smith Rowe's only just come back. So we are on the limit. We are on the limit, and we're doing great things.
Yeah, we scored seven goals in 2 games.
But it's totally unsustainable. You know,
11 goals in 3 games.
That said, we controlling the games. We got caught cold with Bournemouth's first goal, sloppy defending with the second.
Well, they could and should have had a third.
And they could have. I mean, Ramsdale's save was just absolutely vital.
And the only chance we had in the first half.
If anything, Bournemouth should have scored.
Yeah.
But 80% possession. Was it 17 corners in the end?
Yeah, 31 shots on target, or 31 shots on goal to 4.
Ridiculous levels. You know, in the Premier League, I know it's Bournemouth, but they showed that they're a decent side. They're going to fall short because, again, have they got, you know, the requisite quality that they need? I don't know, but they showed.
Well, there's only 4 points between Forest in 14th and Bournemouth at the bottom. It's really tight.
Do you not think that there's 3 teams just better equipped than Bournemouth?
If they play like they played against us every game from now to the end of the season, they'll have more than a fighting chance.
Oh, absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
I think Everton at home might just do it, but they're not scoring goals. Bournemouth looked. I know Bournemouth lost to Man City 3-1 last week, but they actually created a lot of chances in that game. Now it was already at 3-0 when they started opening City up quite a bit, but they created a lot of chances. And all right,
They did today.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
said 4 on target. Yeah,
for an away game at the league leaders, 4 on target, 2 scored, 1 that really should have been scored, but the keeper made an awesome stop. And so that.
I mean, again, today's game was top v bottom now, as it
Top
is.
v bottom, yeah, it was because Southampton.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Look, I get what you're saying. But honestly,
Enjoy the ride.
Honestly, and you answer this honestly, right? If we don't win the league from this position, will you be disappointed? Yes or no?
Of course,
Right.
I will.
Okay, so with that in mind, you don't. We need to stop viewing this season through the prism of how we all felt at the start of the season.
Why not?
Because it's
but you
shifted.
Can do both. You can do both.
Because we're not there. We're not at the start of the season. I will be gutted if we finish 4th.
4th? Why are you talking about 4th?
Because because at the start of the season, I'd have bitten your hand off for finishing 4th.
Yeah, well, yeah. So we all
right. So it's changed. My feeling towards this team and this season has shifted, kind of unrecognisably and irrevocably from the start of the season. The start of the season, I would have give me 4th. Oh yes, please.
All right.
I'm not buying all this nonsense about Ten Hag and Manchester United and how he's transformed that team. People were still saying they'll finish in the top 4.
Robbie Savage said he's the best manager in the world at the minute.
Oh yeah, but Robbie Savage is
says a lot of things.
He does, yeah, lots of hot air and wind and not a lot of thought. So now I'm not saying Arsenal are going to win the league, but I believe that we can. Absolutely believe that we can, and I'll be disappointed if we don't. I'll be disappointed from at this position now, and I won't look back on this moment, just like I don't look back on the Leicester City moment. It meant nothing in the end because it was just a good moment. It didn't. This today's moment, Reece Nelson's goal, that celebration, that moment at the Emirates, at this point in time, is the single best moment at the Emirates. But it will only be what's the word? Consigned
one of the best moments of the club's history.
Yeah, it will only become legendary and folklore and myth and legend if we go on and win the league. As people have been talking about the Federico Makeda moment for Manchester United,
Christopher Ray for us.
Yeah, it's like and I had visions of that when all the bench ran onto the pitch. Ferguson and Brian Kidd at Old Trafford against Sheffield Wednesday when they scored like in the 8th minute of Fergie time, and they went on and won the league. And that moment has become etched because they went on and won the league. I'm not interested in Arsenal's glorious failure anymore. It's like come on, and listen, we are up against it in terms of who the opposition is. I was reading as well that Man City's game against West Ham was due for the FA Cup quarter-final weekend, and I think we're due to play. I might have this wrong. I think we're due to play Southampton, but because Southampton got knocked out of the FA Cup, that game still gets to go ahead. I think
on the Friday,
and that's at the moment.
But if we get past Sporting, it will move to the
Sunday. But that, and I think that West Ham. Well, I think it's a different weekend actually then, because the Man City West Ham game that's the weekend before it'll have to be after the international break, that Man City game. So they're going to have a whole load of games stacking up afterwards. But it means that we'll have another opportunity to, we'll have a game more played. So. Because I'm looking at the gap to Man United in 3rd now, all of a sudden it's 14 points. But they've got 2 games in hand.
One of which is tomorrow.
Come on, Liverpool, at Anfield.
Yeah. I actually can't see Man United losing that.
No, I think they're the favourites for the first time in donkey's years going to Anfield. But I hope they do lose it because they're a bit too close still. And Liverpool have a chance of knocking Spurs out of fourth spot now, because Liverpool are 6 points behind Spurs, who are fourth, and Liverpool have 2 games in hand. So great incentive for Liverpool to all of a sudden, by some, I don't know, I don't know how they've managed to play so crap and still have a chance of fourth place. And we've got to go there yet. So, yeah, anyway.
There's an element of, when Fergie left Man United, they lost their aura. They lost their reputation because he'd gone. And even though Klopp's still at Liverpool, something about their aura has gone.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a mixture of a team aging and losing their intensity, and trying to repeat the same trick, but people are wise to it. I don't know.
Well, I think that's the case of their midfield. I think Mane going was a big
loss.
A big loss for them. I think they underestimated that.
Yeah.
And it'll take these guys they've got. I mean, Luis Diaz has been out for the season pretty much since our game, wasn't it? And he's a good player and a big loss for them. And then Gakpo and Nunes, they're young players, and they're not Firmino, Salah, and Mane together up front. But and Diego Jota's been injured a lot of the season as well. And there's another guy. Well, he always scores against us. I know that, but.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've got to go to Liverpool. We've got to go to City. We've got to go to Newcastle.
Chelsea at home.
Yeah.
Then none of them are easy games. Fulham next week is going to be really tricky.
Well, it is, because we'll have the Thursday game in Portugal as well. So.
Yeah. Thursday, Sunday. I didn't even know Sporting was this week. I forgot.
I think is it the 9th and 16th?
Yeah, I didn't realise this week was the 9th. Yeah. So
it's racing on.
Big games. 11 to go.
12. 12 to go.
12 to go. 11
12 to go.
12. Yeah,
12. But as I've said, I think I don't care how we win. I'm saying that. I don't care how. Just win them. We have to. The most important thing is to win them.
Yeah.
We've now won more points from losing positions than any other team in the Premier League.
We've come from behind on 4 occasions since the World Cup.
Because United was an injury time winner, Villa stoppage time winner, and today against Bournemouth. I was thinking in all those games, were 2-2 going into 90 minutes.
That's crazy.
Bizarrely.
Absolutely crazy.
So Villa took the lead, United took the lead, and Bournemouth took the lead.
And I was hoping from the last 2 games, Leicester and Everton, that we'd
got tighter at the back.
Got a bit more secure, got those clean sheets, got into a rhythm, and then they score in 9 seconds. And we're just all looking at each other like, what has happened? It was so weird. But like I was saying, I think I was about to say, what I liked was, yes, we were thrown by it, but actually the sort of 15, 20 minutes after that, Arsenal actually really did play with a lot of intent. A lot of our 3 shots on target in the first half came in that next sort of.
Well, within 3 minutes, we had the Erdegaard shot and the band, and Saka kind of should have scored that one. You'd have banked him.
In a way, whether it was a result of the goal or whether we would have started like that anyway, we'll never know. But we did respond, and we dominated possession. We were susceptible on the counter, and Bournemouth, with a bit better finishing, could have been completely out of sight. But the character with which they stayed at it, and the substitutions. Tomiyasu did have an awkward first half. Ben White came on, was brilliant, got a goal. He brought Smith Rowe on, like you say. Hopefully, he just brought him off because it was a lot of minutes and the game was quite intense, and he just wanted to protect him. But even so, brought on Nelson, who a couple of times beat his man, got to the byline, made a cross, and then to score that goal at the end is just.
I'm so happy for him. It's like a boyhood Arsenal fan at the club since he was like 6 or something ridiculous, and
contract out at the end of the season.
Not had
very likely to go.
not had any luck with injuries. He was and he was available for the last 2 games, but Arteta, like I said, he didn't make the squad. And then I bring him in today to the squad, and then he comes on and he does that, and he made the difference.
Yes.
I don't think I think at the start he didn't lose the ball once.
No.
For a winger, that's impressive. And he was a proactive winger today. Sometimes when we've seen him in the past, he plays safe. But I think when he got those 2 goals, who did he get the 2 goals against?
Forest.
I think that kind of, and then he got injured. And it's like,
yes, that was the problem, wasn't it?
It was lovely for him, and just the scenes, like, just mental.
It was just incredible. I've just spent the rest of the evening just scrolling through stuff online and watching as many different sort of views and angles as possible. It was just.
Did you see the one on the steward who momentarily forgot his job and he went running? And
honestly. I hope next week's a little more sedate.
I don't know. I think that's a hard game. That is
hard game. I mean, we're so grateful that Polina got a booking in his last Premier League game, which took him to 10s, which means he misses this one.
I mean, because they are only. Are Fulham playing tomorrow then?
Monday night against Brentford.
Oh, at least they've got. Yeah, okay, still 6 days.
Slightly different schedule, though, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah.
You'll do things differently.
It'd be nice if, like, Mitrovic wasn't around for our game as well. I know
he's been out
for a bit. Yeah.
He's only just sort of coming back. I don't know if he's scored since he's come back, but he is such a threat. Yeah, massively.
Yeah, there's a couple of play. Cedric won't be able to play against us, will he?
Nope.
And Leno has been sold, hasn't he?
No.
Is Leno on loan?
I thought you meant from Fulham. I thought you meant Fulham have sold him.
No, Leno's. Yes,
right. Oh, he was sold. Yeah, sorry, from us.
Yeah. And then Willian, obviously.
Yeah, don't you start.
You like your narrative, didn't you?
Narrative. That was going to be exactly the word. Oh dear, can't be doing with that. But we're writing the narrative after today. The narrative is all about us.
My Man United mate just messaged me as I was walking away from the stadium, and he just wrote 2 words: routine win. And you just know that.
Well, that's it. I made the joke when I got back on the bus that we get back up here, and I was one of the last people on because obviously I was singing and dancing in our block for a long while after the whistle, and other people had obviously got back a bit quicker. So I just got on. I just sort of looked at everyone and went, "Never in doubt." They all groaned.
Yeah,
that was so good.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. What else we got? I don't know, like a team selection. Xhaka. I mean, do you know what? Vieira had a better game than I realised.
Do you think?
Yeah. Watching it on the telly, he actually had a lot more involvement, and he was all right.
I thought first half he was quite good, but second half, I don't know. The intensity seemed to overwhelm him a bit, but I don't know. I just. I don't know what I want to see from him, really. It's hard, isn't it? Because obviously Xhaka's there that he's replaced, and Xhaka's just got more
presence and experience about him. You want him in the tip.
It's so unfair to compare him, but you can't. You know, he's in his position. It's hard, isn't it? Vieira is probably one for the next season or 2, rather than.
Well, yeah, and I think that was always the case. He only had half a season in first team football, and he was so featherweight. He needs to kind of strengthen up.
It probably says more about the fact that Xhaka needed a rest rather than Vieira had to come in.
Oh no, it was. I think that was it entirely. Give Xhaka a rest. It'd be interesting to see who he starts on. Will he start the Polish centre-back Kiwior, whatever his name is, Kiwior? Will he start him against Sporting? That'd be a bit of a But having said that, he has played like 18 games in Serie A this season.
Yeah.
And they did play. Him and Emil got some minutes in an under-21 game that they lost.
I think I'd be happy to make as many changes as possible. Really, I think Turner has to go in goal. I think Tomiyasu can play against Sporting because I'd prefer to see Ben White return against Fulham.
And Tierney will definitely start.
Tierney has to start. You know how much I've said how much I love Tierney, but I get why Zinchenko might play at centre back. I mean,
change them both.
I wouldn't mind changing them both, but he doesn't tend to. He tends to change one. And then in midfield, Jorginho, assuming he's over his illness. He was on the bench today, so I guess he was, and he was very much involved in the celebrations and everything. After that, Vieira, Smith Rowe can certainly offer some creative points.
Saka and Martinelli have to be on the bench.
Yeah, so who do you bring in? Nelson and...
See, we're out because Trossard is injured.
And Marquinhos has gone on loan.
And Eddie's
injured. No Eddie Nketiah.
There's the guy who's on the bench a lot, wasn't today. Amari Kozia, I can't remember his name.
But I think one of what you'd call our best first 11 will play. I don't know.
It's a tough one because we actually don't have a striker.
We don't. No, Jesus is too far away. Depends how Nketiah sits with that knock that he's got. He wasn't even in the squad today.
They're waiting for a scan back, and that doesn't sound good.
Nope. And Trossard has obviously gone off, and it's looking like that'll be weeks rather than
days.
So it's an interesting one. I don't know. Just depends on the energy levels. You know, Martinelli had a game where he started from the bench.
But he ran himself into the ground today.
The amount of time, he found himself running through a couple of times today. Saka had, for him, what for him, because of such a high level he's set, it was quite a quiet game. So has he got something in the tank? I don't know. But that's why we're not in charge of a football club. Arteta will do what needs to be done, won't he?
Yeah,
He might have to split the time. He might have to say, you have a half, you have a half. See how we go.
It'd be a shame for injuries to to trip us up.
It's what we've all feared. So.
Yeah, but, our squad's not as, we basically brought in 3 international footballers in January in positions where we didn't have great cover. So for Gabriel, for Partey, and up front. It's a shame that now one of those has picked up a knock as well as Eddie, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they'll all want to play because they're buzzing. Is that 4 wins in a row now in the league since the City game?
Yep. 3 of which untelevised, which I don't know why I quite like. I know lots of people moan about the fact that there's still that 3 p.m. blackout. But
today's game was live in Ireland.
Yeah, because it's outside the UK.
Yeah, but that's in that
that's what I mean.
It's ridiculous,
though. Watch it.
Yeah, but we can't.
No, but we were at the game. And
I was. Yeah, go on.
It makes it so special in a way as well, but it is ridiculous, the fact that the whole world can watch it and we can.
Although I was saying as I was watching the rerun, not on Match of the Day on Sky, I was, when it got to 96 minutes and listened to what the commentator was saying, I'm like, did it actually happen or did I imagine it? Because it was just like it was like the Michael Thomas goal at Anfield. Every time I watched that goal again in 1989, every time I watched it again, I was like, he's going to miss. Yeah. Like genuinely, like
wait.
Feel it all over again. That like palpitations, that anxiety, and I'm like, he's going to miss. And it just went on so late. I've lost my thread there. I was going to say something.
You were wondering if it was real. But then in terms of the TV, I don't know why. I just take.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. Yeah.
I take a little bit of amusement at the fact that the TV companies will be annoyed that they haven't shown it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That, you know,
two things. If it was on telly and I wasn't at the game, I wouldn't have watched it because I can't. I can't do it. I'm like terrible. I have to be at the game. I'm a lot calmer at the game.
And you were calm.
And but on the telly, because I've got control, I can choose to turn it off. I'll pause it for 5 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever it is, and stick William Hill on and get the gold flash early, and then quickly run to the room and watch it or something. It's and the other thing as well is I was all those, on Twitter watching the reactions and the commentary. Where's Peter Drury? That's what I wanted. And the answer is
he was doing Leicester, Southampton,
he wasn't doing our game.
No.
Of all the games you'd want him to be describing, of all the goals you'd want him, because the Sky commentator just basically said nothing. He was just completely either gutted and then he got into it by the time, because the camera for some reason followed Saliba.
Yes.
To the corner flag. Like Saliba didn't have a clue what to do or anything.
He didn't know what to do, yeah.
It was just like, it's visceral. It's like
that was me running across to block follow. Crazy.
Oh dear.
What a day.
Yeah.
I'm still grinning about it.
12 more to go. 12 more of them.
12 to go.
What was it saying?
Magic number now must be 32. 32.
What's that?
For the if we were to lose all our games, basically, if we get 32 points, it doesn't matter what anyone else does.
Yeah, so drop 4 points, even if that's against. Does that count if it's against Man City, a defeat?
Oh, I don't know. That's not how we got. It's Adam Vogue on.
Yeah, because someone said the 26th of April now is the earliest St Totteringham's Day can be, because they lost and we won, so it came forward. It came forward a bit. I think that's 6 games. So I'm not sure, but is that because if we're 18 points ahead of them?
Okay.
I think they might have.
So are we going to have certain checkpoints then? Because obviously.
Yeah, tick them off.
Top 4 or St Totteringham's Day, whichever one comes first.
Well, first of all, yeah, it'll be. Let's see, because we're 60...
Conference League, Europa League. I think we're staying up.
Well, we're not getting relegated. We know that.
Yes,
that's out now. Someone said, let's see, Palace. So Palace are 12th. There's a 7-point gap between Palace and Villa from 12th to 11th. So let's do Palace, 27 points. Quick, that's 36 points with 12 games to go. Right, so if we lose everything and Palace win everything, Palace can join us on level on points. So that's
our
12.
Must be better.
No, but not if we lose everything and they win everything. That's 12th now. We can't finish below 12th by my. Although having said that, Forest have got a game in hand on Palace, and that would put them 1 point above them. So technically 13th. We're a third. The 13th is the lowest position we can finish. So it's getting up. It's rising.
Yeah.
St Totteringham's Day or for top 4. Well, top 4 is obviously the big one. So I'm not bothered about St Totteringham's Day. That's just funny. But top 4 is that's the target pre-season. So. And Newcastle can get to 47. So we've got a 16-point cushion to 4th if Newcastle win their games in hand. I'd take that with 12 games to go.
Yeah.
So win the next 7. Well, if we win the next 7, we'll win the league. I'm pretty confident about that.
Will that include City?
I'm looking it up. So
you've said it.
So right, Fulham, Palace, Leeds, Liverpool, West Ham, and Southampton. Then it's Man City. Oh no, I said 7, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is Man City. Yeah, there you go.
Right.
That was it. That we would win the league, win the next 7. That's it. We'll win the league, win the next 7 because we'd be 8. We'd have an 8-point cushion on City with only 1. I love this. 2, 3, 4, 5 games to go. 8-point lead with 5 games to go.
I don't know if my heart can stand it.
We take that 8-point lead with 5 games. Home to Wolves, away to Forest, home to Brighton, away to Newcastle, and home to Chelsea.
Yeah.
We've got a tough running.
It is.
Today was the easiest game left on paper.
On paper, yeah.
That worked. How did that work out for us?
Yeah. And that's the thing, even with the points that we've got, we can still lose one and draw one and finish above them, but it means winning all the others. And the thought of winning 10 games out of that lot we've got left, including Chelsea at home, because it's still Chelsea at home, Liverpool away, Man City away, places that we've got a shocking record at.
No, we can't. We can't look at it like that. We have to just win the next game, isn't it?
Win the next game. That's it.
And that's a hard one.
Those very last games will all depend on what's going on with those clubs at the time. If they're safe, if they're vying for Europe, how soon will they be on the beach, as lots of people like to say. So we shall see. But oh man, what a ride! What was your favourite bit about today? Whether it was the goal, the after. I know it probably centred around the actual winner, but what's your favourite sort of initial thing? Just only a few hours after it happened.
Oh God, blimey. I don't know. For me. It was the disbelief. It was like I can't believe that's just happened. Because what happened before, and I was saying this to Indigo in the car, and I couldn't remember. Where the Zinchenko shot that deflected back behind for a corner. I said to her, I'm pretty sure it was from that corner that we scored, and she said, no, that happened. It was, yes, it was from that corner. Yeah. And I'm thinking, like, even that, because the Zinchenko shot from our angle, I thought it was going in.
Yeah, we had no idea. Yeah,
and because it was like, I knew it was close, and it was like, and it's just like everything just kept raising the tension. The clock was gone. Like Indigo had the time watch on, the stopwatch on, and we were like, it was well into 6 minutes 40 when I just saw it in her hand as Erdegaard was about to take the corner, and then I don't know, just I'm delighted it was a screamer, because yes. I think that's it. I think it's the quality of the goal
makes it sweeter. And he looked like, I mean, this is the thing, my wife is actually pretty well versed on football. She, she's not really particularly a fan, but she knows what she's doing. And when she watched the highlights, she said, how calm was Nelson? He took that like he had all the time in the world. Yeah. And it's absolutely right. Because I obviously, in the heat of the moment, I didn't quite clock that. But he takes it down really well, sets it out, and then just takes his time and just whoosh straight into the net. Oh.
And the referee nearly got in the way. He was stood right next to him while the corner was being taken. Oh, but afterwards he said, I was just thinking as I was just praying as Erdegaard just let it fall to me. Because someone else made the point that Partey's goal, I mean, we joked, we talked about corners and how big they were, and I turned around to you and I said, we're probably going to score from 2 corners now. I remembered that just about an hour ago. I thought we actually scored from 2 corners. But the interesting thing was that on both corners that we scored from, Emil and Reece Nelson were unmarked, picking the ball up when it dropped. And they did for some reason, I don't know why they left that part of the penalty area kind of unguarded.
You wonder if, because obviously players are given certain jobs to mark certain players, and because those two are...
Yeah, they didn't start.
Nelson's not featured at all, really. So how much would he have factored into their sort of plans?
No, not at all.
And Smith Rowe, coming back from injury, they wouldn't have necessarily. That said, it's the 96th minute, and they're trying to hold on for a point that could be really important for them. Your focus just slips. It's human to not recall all of those messages that you'd have been having all week. So fair play to Bournemouth, but wow, what a moment for us.
And I love this stats, the comparisons between Nelson and like Anthony and Richarlison.
Richarlison?
Yeah. So Anthony, 90 million, whatever he was, 90 million, played 960 odd minutes in the Premier League this season, 3 goals. No, was it 3 goals, 1 assist, something like that? I don't know. Nelson, who's played 80 something minutes in Premier League football, has 3 goals and 2 assists. Richarlison, who's played I don't know how many minutes, has 0 and 0. Like it's a thing of beauty. Richarlison's form.
Smith Rowe got an assist. Nelson got a goal. Who got the other assist? You're talking. These are our players. These are ones that we've.
It was a Brighton headed clearance to Nelson.
Bournemouth, yeah, okay.
Bournemouth, yeah, headed clearance to Nelson, yeah. So no assist for his. Okay. So I think it was the quality of the goal. Yes. It was fine, and again for us as well, we were not right behind the angle. We had no idea
how good it was.
We had no idea it was going in until it was in, and the net bulged.
Yeah,
it was just perfect. It was like, and then it was just the release. Then it was just like complete pandemonium.
Bedlam. Absolute bedlam in the North Bank. There are bodies everywhere. People are coming shouting, screaming. Just great.
It was funny. Did you see the video footage of Ian Wright in the studio? Danny Murphy, that was the best one though. He got up. I thought, first of all, when I looked at it, when I saw it first, I thought, who was that? Because it's from behind. I thought it was an Arsenal, and someone with an Arsenal connection. Of course it wasn't. It was someone with a Spurs connection who was devastated that we'd scored. And he was up and he's like, he couldn't believe it. And then he just shouted at the back of the Gary Lineker for filming Ian Wright the whole time.
Oh, good.
And then they went to the BT Sports studios as well. And
even Chris Sutton got excited.
Chris Sutton, his arms in the air, it's like that. He always said, I'm not sure he's an Arsenal fan as such, but he always said that he wants a new league winner. He wants Arsenal to win the league because he's fed up with Man City winning the league. He wants to freshen it up.
Well, yeah.
And Paul Merson on Sky Sports commentating. So they were
doing all that. He didn't know what to do with his hands.
They were with him on that because he's actually a Chelsea fan. He's not an Arsenal fan, but obviously he's got an Arsenal. He's got Arsenal. His boys have like Chelsea kits. They're Chelsea fans. But he's an Arsenal like legend, and he's got that connection. He clearly wants us to do what to win and to win the league, for example. But yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
What a day.
That will take some beating, that will, but I'm here for it if we beat that. I want to be at that game. Whatever game that is, I want to be at it if we beat that. I'm not sure how we can beat that. I suppose the context. So Wolves' last game of the season.
I didn't do Everton in the week because it's a work night. And I didn't do Leicester away last week. Didn't apply for it. So the game before that I could have done was Villa. So I've had the Villa game a week and a bit off, 2 games off, and then I've come back for this one.
So you've seen our winning goals in the 93rd, 97th, and 98th minutes.
I missed the routine 1-0 away win and the 4-0 home win. I've missed those. I'm here for the injury time comeback winners.
I mean, it says a hell of a lot about the character of the team. And what it does is it puts opposition teams on the back foot mentally as well, because they'll be expecting it. We are relentless.
We will not stop.
Yeah, we are relentless. It's such a novel experience again. We are relentless, and we're relentless like Man City, but with a bit more energy. I think a bit more pace. City seem to be more pedestrian.
We've got players that are easier to like. I'm just putting it out there. I know I'm not neutral in this, but for all his brilliance, Haaland doesn't seem like an overly likable guy.
Well,
Do you know what I mean?
he was winding the other players up today, wasn't he?
There's a weird intensity about him. You know, De Bruyne. I mean, if I was to talk about players that I like for other teams, De Bruyne is just, you know,
Yeah, that's
so classy.
but he dives.
There's a coldness about
but
him.
he dives and cheats for penalties in the last minute, and so no, I've gone off him this season.
Foden's a bit of a scally. Grealish is a scally. Do you know what I mean? Edison, after all his antics in the game at our place, yeah, I've kind of gone off them.
They'll be if the situation's similar as it is now, they'll be worried about us when we turn up there.
Well, I mean, they should be anyway. But you know, despite what Adrian Durham says, City haven't faced us with our full strength spine.
So let's hope they do.
Fingers crossed they do, because you know that's far enough away that Jesus should be back. Trossard hopefully has got over what's, you know, ailing him, but you know these injuries could really kill us. But fingers crossed it's two, because that's the thing. We want the two best teams to go at each other. That's what I want to see.
For that game, it'd be nice if Jorginho and Trossard are on the bench and Eddie's on the bench, because it means that Jesus and Partey are starting and so on.
Yeah, and there might even be an argument that Trossard is involved in some way, maybe. Will all depend on what others are doing at the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that it will be Saka, Martinelli and Jesus through the middle, and Ødegaard, Xhaka and Partey.
And then that's our best team.
Our best 11 does pick itself, but
I don't think Trossard weakens us as much.
I'm not sure he weakens us at all, because he offers something not quite the same. Which is great. But no, right, let's
do it. 50 minutes.
I'm up at 6:30 for a run.
Are you?
Yeah, well, I'm taking the boy to his first little kickers class at 8:15. So if I'm going to do that,
great.
Can you imagine, like, about
what if you scored a 97th minute winner?
15. Well, I don't think 15 2-year-olds. It's going to be like herding cats.
I used to do a little bit of like young kids coaching, and I had them join me when they were like 4, and yeah, ridiculous. But it's just that fun, as long as they have fun.
Yes, absolutely. I think I'll be the one pinging it into the top corner. If there's a football and a goal there, I'm getting involved. I
reckon I'll be getting pictures from you or videos from you going, look, Hayland graduate on his way.
Yeah, must get him. No, I told you I've got more hopes for the younger one. He likes the football.
Yes, who I met recently. Yeah, he does like a ball, doesn't he? Yeah,
he does. Yeah. May need to suck and lick and chew at the moment, but you know,
you've got to start somewhere.
I'm fostering a love for the ball. You know,
the ball. Be the ball.
Yeah, be the ball. Yeah. Right. Enough of this nonsense.
On that note, wow.
Oh, okay, what do I do? End broadcast. Right, I'm going to end the broadcast. What's next? Sporting Lisbon on Thursday. I'll miss the first half as per usual.
Back of the Neto. We didn't even talk about his time wasting and his booking for dissent.
Just a word for the crowd. I love the fact that crowd were on his case from like the 3rd or 4th minute when he wasn't actually time wasting. Yeah. I thought that was really good.
Hello, all other Premier League goalkeepers.
Yeah, hello. That's what 4 out of the last 6 have been booked for time wasting for us against us.
So they can't time waste against us. They can't score early against us. We're going to be relentless right till the end. You know, teams have got to come up with some different options. Wow. What a day.
Yeah, right. Okay. See you on Thursday, perhaps, and then it's Sunday. Cool. Nice one.
Not that Thursday, but I'm boat trip to Fulham.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Yeah. Right. Good one.
Take care.
Take care.